Welcome to Finland, where we are with Nissan and X-Trail and Ariya to test their e4orce capabilities. Today's drive that you're about to watch in this video will involve driving on a frozen lake, driving through the frozen forest, and just finding out how capable are these passenger road vehicles, but have a little bit of a hint of off-road goodness in them, especially in the X-Trail. And we'll find out how these cars manage to deal with snow and ice, just tricky conditions if you were to get into a bit of a beast from the east once every decade in Ireland. Stay watching to find out what this epic trip across Finland is going to be like. Couple of big selling points in the X-Trail. It can split between the axle, how much power is going to each individual wheel. That should give you a better grip. Look, there is a huge amount of this car that it's kind of over the top for what we're going to get in Ireland the majority of the time. But it's just good to experience these vehicles in this kind of setup to just, I suppose, display that, you know, if we did have a load of snow, if there was a lot of very cold, icy conditions, if you did live somewhere rural that wasn't particularly great for maintaining the roads, this would be a vehicle that is an option to you. I've been really impressed with the e-Power. I like how e-Power performs anyway. I've driven it on the Qashqai also. If you want to have a look at that video back at home, it's there. But it's really economical. 7.5 litres per 100 kilometres. I know that's not 5 litre hybrid territory, but this is a heavy permanent four-wheel drive vehicle. That's very good. In a traditional sense, I think you'd be looking at sort of 10, 11 litres per 100 kilometres. You better say kilowatt hours. You get so used to driving electric. Just at our first coffee stop today. You know, it's hard work, this driving. So we've first of all taken the Nissan X-Trail e-Power on a mix of kind of snow-covered roads, icy roads, just normal tarmac. You know, not really tarmac by our standards at home. We've driven across a little bit of lake, which was quite splashy, as you can probably see here. But a couple of things that I've noticed. Well, first of all, the way the X-Trail is designed is it's designed to not tilt back and forward when you brake and accelerate. So that makes for a more pleasant experience for everybody, including your passengers. Also, the way e-Power works, it's using regen braking. So you're not constantly using the pedal, which gives you better traction as well, because the motor is slowing down the car as opposed to you using friction and then the brakes and tyres, it just kind of makes for a more smoother way of navigating slippy roads. And then you've got the added grip of the X-Trail being all-wheel drive. And the version we get in Ireland is only in all-wheel drive. So it's a very capable car, albeit a passenger car. It's not a full off-road vehicle, but if you were ever to find yourself in slippy conditions like we've experienced maybe, I don't know, twice in the past 15 years, at least you know you'd be covered. But certainly, I mean, the point of this video is to show you that this is what it's capable of in countries like Finland. So from a slip point of view, a grip point of view, you'd be well sorted in Ireland. If it can manage these kind of conditions, then, you know, at home should be absolutely a doddle for the car. Yes, this car is on studded tyres, winter tyres. Again, the grip though on that is really, really good. The suspension just absorbs everything nicely. It's not too choppy. It's not constantly bouncing. You can feel it doing its thing without disturbing you as a passenger or as a driver. It's just very, very composed inside the car. I love that. With an electric vehicle, the extra weight sometimes just means there's a lot of bounce, a lot of shifting around in the car. And then if you floor it, no traction lights, no nothing. It's just getting on with it. You have hill descent on this. Now, I have not touched snow mode on this car once a day. Haven't needed it. That will reduce the sensitivity of the accelerator, reduce some of the power delivery, and just, you know, give you a more narrow, I suppose, bandwidth of power, but helps you in slippier conditions. But haven't needed to do that. Also, the e-pedal button is down here. That does some of the braking for you. As soon as you lift off, you get a lot of regen. Again, you're not relying on the brakes then on slippier conditions to do their thing. It just kind of cracks on with the job. Just to give you a quick walk around tour then of the X-Trail. So, you know, the potential for it to be an off-road vehicle, there's a good bit of ground clearance. You're not going to catch any of your lower bumper, your nice attention to detail bits on the car. And the exhaust, it's not exactly, you know, 200 mils off the ground, but there's a bit of clearance there. Certainly under the arches, a good bit of ground clearance. You'll see on these cars you have the studded tyres on winter tyres, and they are just night and day if you are in these kind of conditions. Again, not really going to need them in Ireland. I mean, you could buy them and stick them in the shed or the garage if you're ever going to encounter this kind of stuff, or you anticipate. But that's what gives you all the additional grip. You know, this is just a standard X-Trail. Apart from that, there's no mods finished or added or anything like that. So it's just your standard car, very comfortable on the inside. Switching things up then into Ariya. This is not an X-Trail, it goes without saying. You've got a little bit more weight, just over 300 kilos. This is fully electric. By the way, Nissan have reduced the price of this car quite a bit. It's now starting from just over €43,000 after grants and before delivery in Ireland. So you have all-wheel drive torque split going on in this car, depending on what version of it you have. If you apply the same tools as in winter tyres and studs to the tyres, an EV is I wouldn't say as capable as an X-Trail, but an EV is certainly usable in snow and ice. You know, there's all talk about them operating at temperatures, very cold temperatures. Yes, that does have an impact. We're at about -2, -3 here in Finland. It's been much colder over the last few weeks, but these cars were still performing for them. What is noticeable is just the rear suspension. We had this on a track earlier on, turned the ESC off, had a bit of fun sliding it. Shout out to Lara, our ex-rally driver instructor. She was great crack. She's actually a local from where we are, about 20 kilometres away from the hotel we're staying in. And the X-Trail does perform as a better all-rounder. No getting away from that. It's just the more capable vehicle for doing, I wouldn't say off-road things. We didn't really do much off-road. We did do a few kind of independent ramps that would have one wheel doing all the power. So some of the systems on the cars can split the torque to across the axle into individual wheels. So it had a lot of grip, the X-Trail. Not as bouncy as, you know, the weight of this car, the way the suspension has to be set up for it. The X-Trail just absorbs the bumps and things better. But this car was on conditions that certainly at home we just wouldn't get. So it was cool to experience an EV in a kind of more challenging environment. It's just to see how they drive and how different the driving dynamics are. That said, on the smooth roads here now, you know, it's perfect. No doubt though, if you were doing lots of constant challenging driving, you would probably pick the X-Trail, but it was still great to see what an EV is like in these type of environments, and with the right tools it kind of just gets on with it. As you can see, the X-Trail is a really capable vehicle today. It can do just about anything we've managed to throw at it. The Ariya, definitely a bit heavier. It's a heavier car, about 2.2 tonne. This is 1.8-ish. So there's a little bit more weight going on in the electric car. Bit easier to slide, bit harder to control. But again, when you're driving on a frozen lake in Ireland, not going to happen. This has been really good on fuel. 7.5 litres per 100 kilometres for a four-wheel drive vehicle, permanent four-wheel drive. That's impressive. And colder temperature conditions, which we're often talking about when it comes to EVs in particular. Now remember, you can only get the X-Trail in petrol in Ireland. You can't get a diesel version of it. But all the stuff we've thrown at it today hasn't missed a beat. If you have any thoughts or comments on the car, if you've got any questions about what it's been like in Finland, please do leave them down below. Make sure you like and maybe share the video or subscribe if you haven't yet. It would really help with supporting us here on the channel. From -3 in Finland, it's time to say goodbye. I thought it could be -20. It was -20 here a few weeks ago. Thank you very much for checking out this video today in the snow and the ice here from Nissan e4orce.